Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marie Inez Valdepeñas, and as Director of Alumni Relations at Johnson & Wales University, I'm excited you have joined us for this incredible virtual event discussing real estate trends with fellow alum Kamil Sarji. Today, we are recording this presentation, so we do want to let you know that it will be available on our YouTube channels. Today is January 24th, and here in Providence, we are experiencing a lot of cold weather and a bit of rain. Virtual events like this one allows our alumni around the world to participate from the comfort of their own spaces. We are excited to bring you this program to help you better understand what is happening in the real estate market today, and we are grateful for Kamil to take time to share his expertise and answer questions you may have. Before we get started, I'd like to review a few housekeeping items. If you have questions for Kamil, please add them to the Q&A section below. They will be answered at the conclusion of the program. I ask that you ensure your screens and your sound is on mute. Now let's start the program with knowing a little bit about our fellow alum, Kamil. Kamil started his academic journey at Johnson & Wales University, where he earned an associate degree in applied computer science from the School of Technology. He worked as a senior lab assistant at the academic computer lab while continuing his education, earning his bachelor's degree in information technology. So while he worked as a senior assistant, Kamil then decided to pursue an MBA in global business management at JWU to enhance his business and leadership skills.
Hi, how are you?
So although he initially founded Support Visions, an IT solutions company, Kamil found his true passion when he began investing in real estate and later worked as an agent at Keller Williams. He is now the proud owner of Gold Door Realty. Kamil, welcome. We are excited to hear more about real estate trends in today's market.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much for having me. And it's always a pleasure to help Johnson Wales and fellow alumni. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. All right, Gold Door Realty. So agenda for today, I'm going to try to keep it nice and clean, get to the point. I'm sure a lot of people are curious about the market, where it's headed. So we'll talk about that. But first, I'm going to talk about myself and the brokerage and why I started Gold Door Realty. Then we'll go over really quick the buying process, buying versus renting, real estate home prices now and where they were before, also mortgage rates and different options for mortgages. Even though I'm not a lender, I work with a lot of lenders, so I know what are there, what options are there, and also what now, like where are we headed? So first off, talk about me. Love talking about myself. So I went to Johnson & Wales for information science, and I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which opened my eyes to real estate investing and passive income. And in 2003, I started investing in real estate. I went back to Johnson & Wales to get my MBA in global business management and organizational leaderships. And I knew what my strengths were. I mean, as far as like IT, I knew what I was good at, which was finding solutions to problems, negotiating. You don't really use that much in IT, but I do love that, and I've used it all my life. It's part of my family, my heritage. I also love simplifying something complicated and improving that process. which IT is, it's like second nature. Also, huge, something that's really important to me is helping people succeed in any way, whatever their goal is. So helping them succeed is something I'm really passionate about. So I wanted to start this brokerage, and I found out that in order to be a broker and start a brokerage, you got to start as an agent. And I started as an agent with Keller Williams. I learned everything there is to do with real estate and how the process works. Again, learning, trying to simplify the process, and trying to make things easier for agents that want to work with me in my brokerage. Eventually, I started a team at Keller Williams, and then it was time to move on and get my broker license. And so while I'm building Goldo Realty, again, I wanted to create something that was useful and helpful for the agents to focus more on the clients, because being a real estate agent, there's so many things that you have to do, as far as like the paperwork is like, there's so much paperwork, but also you're coordinating with all these different, with the lenders, with the attorneys, with the other agent, with your clients, just coordinating, making sure everything runs smoothly, because everything is great until something goes wrong. So you need someone who can guide you and get you there. So in 2022, I started Goldo Realty. All right, so this is something I assumed people knew, but the more I talk to people, the more I realize that this is something that that's not known. So what's the difference between a broker and an agent? Well, real estate brokerage, as you can see, the top right is the brokerage, the company for the real estate company. There's teams. I know there's teams, real estate teams, but a team is not a brokerage. A team is just a bunch of real estate agents that team up and work at a brokerage. So they have the different brokerages up top. You have Keller Williams, Century 21, HomeSmart, Remax. So there's all these different brokerages. And in a brokerage, you have your main broker, as you can see here. So you got the main broker, and the sales agent works in that brokerage under them. And the agent has their client that they work with. So this shows you exactly what it looks like. But I put the dotted line between the broker and the client because no matter what, the client is tied to that broker. So any contracts that they sign, the broker is responsible for everything that happens. Anything that the agent does, the broker is ultimately responsible. As far as commissions, the agent, a real estate agent, well, to be a real estate agent, there's you got to take class. There's a state, and then you have a national test that you take to become a real estate agent. Then once you have your license, you have to work under a broker. So a broker has to carry your license. So that's what it is right here. But if you're a real estate agent that's not working for a broker, even if you are working for a broker, it's illegal for you to receive any kind of commission for the sale of real estate. If you're helping someone buy or sell, it's illegal for you to get that commission. The commission has to go to the broker. So I put that illustration in here. So the sales agent's working with their client, they're getting paid a commission. So that commission goes up to the broker. The broker takes the commission and gives the split with the agent. So that's what it looks like here on how that works. And as far as a broker, they also work directly with clients. So me as a broker, I love helping, obviously I love helping people, but I love helping people buy and sell real estate. And my passion is also helping these agents in my brokerage, because they're my family, become successful. So whatever it takes to get them to become successful, I do. All right, so as an agent, you can have a seller representation and a buyer representation. In Rhode Island, it's illegal for you to represent two parties. So if you think about it, it's not really ethical or fair if you're representing a seller and representing a buyer, and the seller is telling you, I'll go, as the lowest I would go is 400,000. And the buyer's telling you the most I would pay is 420. You can't, knowing that information and working with both, it's totally unethical to play that. So you have to choose who your fiduciary responsibility is to. So if you're working with a seller, you sign an agreement that, yes, I represent you, I have your best interest. So in a seller representation, they care about the seller. They want to make sure the seller gets the highest price for their house. They want to make sure that the seller is not paying any additional money to the buyer. They want to avoid having to do any repairs or pay for repairs. And they want to kind of build a bidding war, because you don't want just one offer. You want to set it up in a way where you're getting multiple interests, multiple offers. That's the best scenario. All right, so that's a seller. The buyer obviously has the buyer's best interest. So buyer representation, same thing. The agent signs an agreement with the buyer saying, I represent you, and I have your best interest. So they negotiate the price, they negotiate the repairs that need to be done. They make sure that the deposit that the buyer is putting towards the purchase of the sale is protected. So if anything happens, they're able to get that money back. They create and present an appealing offer to the other agent, who then presents it to the seller. They want to make sure, because a couple of years ago it was just out of control. You get like 70 offers, and it's just hard to keep figure out which offer is the best. I mean, they're all above asking, and so we had to be creative and come up with a way where our client's offer was getting picked. And price isn't always the best way, or the reason why sellers pick your offer. And a buyer agent also wants to make sure everything's moving smoothly, and all these different parties are going along with this transaction. So with Gold Door Realty, what I created is a way for agents to not have to worry about paperwork. We have a transaction coordinator in-house that handles all the paperwork, handles all the keeping everybody in the loop on what's going on with the lenders and the attorney, insurance. So that person's job is to make sure every agent's transaction is moving smoothly. So I set it up this way because I want the agent to focus on the client, focus on negotiating, focus on figuring out if this house is a good purchase, or if the sale of this house, how can I get this to become more appealing? How do I get more people to see this house on the market? That's why I designed it that way. And the coaching program and the training program that we have is just it's great. And I'm always looking for ways to improve the success of the agents, which is the success of our clients. So super, super important for me to make sure that that everybody's successful in their goal. All right. So the buying process, I'm just going to go over the buyer process. One of the things that we do at Gold Door Realty is we want to make sure our clients are educated and know what's going on. And I don't mean what's going on with the deal. I mean what's going on with the process and how the process works. Because If someone wants to buy a house and they're like, yeah, I want to buy a house. All right, cool. Let's go look at a house. Um, then they're just, it's just another buyer out there. But we want our buyers to have a leg up. So our buyers, we meet with them, we go over the buying process so that they know where we are in the process and and what we need to do in order to have a successful transaction. So we meet with buyers, sellers, same thing. So buyer process, it's super complicated, but I've created or tried to make it as simple as possible. So I'll just go over that really quick. So I split it up into two sections. First is searching and finding. And then the second is taking a closer look at the house and owning it. All right, so first process is the search and find. We have to make sure our buyers are pre-approved, because if we go looking at a house and they want it and they're not pre-approved, then the pre-approval process could take a day or two. And within that time, you could lose that house or not be able to buy it. And sometimes seller agents want to see a pre-approval. They want to see, before you even look at it, they want to make sure that the buyer is pre-approved, because they don't want to waste their time or the seller's time. The second step is to go and look at the houses. So we set up a search criteria for what they're looking for. And again, we try to look and think outside the box. We try to be creative. When we have our meetings, we go over what's going on with the market and what issues are coming up. So one of the things is, especially when there's low inventory, trying to be creative with what is out there and what because what's on the market is what's on the market. But we were able to find homes that were not up for sale yet, or off-market deals that we were able to get for our buyers. Again, thinking outside the box and trying to come up with the best option. So finding the house and seeing the house, that's what this step is. If you like the house, put in an offer. There's a deposit that you put it towards the house. So we go over that, the pre-approval letter, everything. Like, we create a nice, appealing offer package and send it over to the seller's agent. And then the purchase and sales agreement. So that's the actual contract to buy the house. And that's when our transaction coordinator starts her thing, where she starts the process. There's so many steps that happen after that. So she makes sure all that is moving. So at this point, you found the house and you have it locked in. So the next step is taking a closer look at that house and owning it. One of the things is having an inspection, doing an inspection. Some buyers choose not to have an inspection, which if they're buying it with cash, or they don't really care, they just want the house. So they choose to buy it without an inspection. And if that's the case, there's no timeline or anything, and it looks appealing for the seller. And we also make sure our buyers have a insurance quote, so that when they reach the end, it's not running around trying to find an insurance company to send us the binder to be able to close on the house. The step after this is what's important, and it's been tricky for the last couple of years. It's the appraisal process. So your bank is going to send an appraiser that is a third party to the bank, because of what happened in 2006 with that whole appraisal issue and the mortgage lending like more than what the house is worth. They're very strict with how the bank communicates with the appraiser. So appraiser comes out, looks at the house and says, yeah, this house is worth whatever that you're putting. If it's worth less, then there's a problem because you can't buy the house. So that's where we come in and start negotiating with the other party to get you that house, even though it appraised at lower than what you were going to buy it for. Again, we want your best interest. Then it's preparing for the closing. It's usually a week before the lender reaches out and they need all kinds of different things. We also got to get the smoke certificate, meter readings for your water, sewer, gas, electric, all that thing. Everything needs to be prepared for the closing. And then the closing is when you sign 500 pieces of paper and you get your keys. Okay, so renting versus buying. There we go. All right, so I kind of split it up into what you need to do and like the benefits of buying versus renting. Renting, you have a set amount that you're paying every month. There could be an increase at the end of the year, or you could luck out and just stay with that for years and years. I've seen so many landlords with tenants that they want to sell the property, and I'm like, oh my God, what you're charging your tenants is not going to be appealing for the buyer that wants to buy this as an investment. So yes, the rent could increase yearly. It might include heat, electricity, which is awesome. You don't have to worry about that. You could get renter's insurance. The landlord's not really responsible for anything that happens inside your house if you're anything gets stolen or a fire. So renter's insurance is highly recommended. And you have to follow landlord's rules. Can't leave trash outside of your door. Now, in your own house, you can leave out trash outside the door, but the landlord doesn't want you to do that. So that's renting. Buying, you have your monthly mortgage, which is, includes the principal and interest, and that's for your term of the mortgage for the loan. So 30-year mortgage, it's the same amount until the 30 years. Then you have other things that could and might get added with the mortgage, your insurance and taxes. And the bank wants to make sure that those things are getting paid, because if you don't pay your insurance and the house burns down, then they're out of that money. Or if you don't pay your taxes, the city or town takes your house and they can't they can't get it back. So those are two things that are important. There's also PMI insurance that if you're not putting down if you're putting down less than 20%, there's a fee or an insurance that gets tacked onto your mortgage. So you have to pay for that. Utilities and setting money aside for repairs. You might not have to repair anything in the year, knock on wood, or you might have to. So setting money aside is important to get these things repaired. And the tenant doesn't really have to worry about that. The landlord takes care of that. I'm gonna take a sip of water. All right. So benefits of renting versus buying. You can see there's like huge list of benefits renting versus buying. So renting, no repair. You don't have to worry about repairs. Renting an apartment is cheaper. Renting a home could end up being the same price as paying mortgage to a house. Sometimes even lower. I've seen it lower. So you have that. You don't have to worry about putting down a down payment. You don't have to worry about putting a down payment. There's no upfront like big cost like putting a deposit of 3.5% or 5%. All you have to worry about is just putting your security deposit, which you can get back at the end when you move. Moving is way easier. You could just decide to pick up and go if you're at a month to month, or if you're yearly lease. Even with a lease, you can pay it out to move. So way much easier. And credit requirements are not as strict as buying. Benefits of buying. So you have your all that money, well, a lot of that money is going towards the equity of your house. But Camille, only 200 is going to my principal every month. How is that? Well, I'll talk about that later. But you're building equity in your house. You are you have stability and control of your house. You go home, you don't have a landlord yelling at you, keep the music down, or you got to put the trash in the trash bin. Don't put it at your door. So you have that. I'm not telling people to leave your trash out outside your door. That's not really nice. You gotta take it out to the trash bin. But tax benefits, there's a lot of tax benefits. So if you're working with a CPA, they can help you think of as far as your mortgage interest, that's a tax benefit there, along with other things, but I'm not a CPA. You can sell your property. You can rent your property and decide not to sell it. I'm just going to rent it. You can rent portions of your house. You can rent a room. You can rent the basement. So you're free to do whatever you want with it. And the average is about 13 years where someone buys a house and they stay in it for an average of 13 years. So let's keep that in mind for later when I talk through the examples. All right. Home price. Goodness. How is a home priced? How do you, how do you know the price of a house? Well, the most important thing that they say is location, 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 wherever you are. If you're in California versus a house here in Woonsocket, that's location. If you're at the beach versus somewhere else, that's location. The average, so the way it's calculated, the way they look at it is you take an area, and if every single house was identical in that area, it'd be super easy to price it, because what did most of these homes sell for on the open market? And that's how you come up with the price. That's how you know what the price is. Now, I see this a lot, which is crazy. Someone's house burned down and they built a mansion in the middle of like average priced homes. So that mansion is not really worth what a mansion would be worth, because the homes around it dictate what the price is. So because the average home prices in that area is what they're set at, this mansion is a little bit more than those other homes. All right. Now, if you look at it the other way, if you have a bunch of mansions in this land where someone built an average home, that average home is going to be super expensive, because you're figuring the land and the house. Lake, waterfront, those things are also dictate the price. I get this a lot. Zillow says my house is worth this much. And so Zillow's not really accurate. I know they give you a range, but I've seen it both ways. Like, Zillow says my house is worth this much. Cool, let's sell it for that much. It could sell for more, but I'll buy it for that if you want. Or it could be the other way, like house is super expensive because Zillow doesn't go into the house and look at everything. There's the vinyl siding, there's the the kitchen, the updates, the structure of the house. So there's so many things that go into consideration. Me going to a house and looking at it versus me looking online and giving you a price, I have a better chance of getting an accurate price, accurate market price for that house by looking at it and doing the calculation. So that's how a home is priced. Another question that I get a lot is, why did my neighbor's house sell in a day? Well, working with a seller, when I go into a listing appointment and I look at and try to price the house, there's some things I recommend people do. I work with a lot of buyers, a lot of sellers, but when I walk around with buyers, I know what they like. I know what things are important to them and what is not. So when I go into a listing appointment, I'm taking note of all these things because doing those little updates can help that my seller sell it for the most. My job is to get as many people in there as possible to see the house. So not only do we post it, all these sites, we also do some social media marketing. We talk to people. We have our agents who work with buyers that don't know that this house is coming up for sale. So we have, there's so many different things that we do. Because again, if we're working with a buyer or a seller, there's different strategies that we use to help them win. So why did it sell? Well, the appearance of the house, the curb appeal, the pictures online looked great, and when they came in, they're like, "Oh my God, this place is amazing." So getting a lot of people in there. Their kitchen, bathroom is upgraded. There's pretty much like move-in ready. Move in and everything is ready. They have a heating system, they have a cooling system. Again, going in with the buyer's mindset and looking at these homes, we're able to help them do these little modifications to help increase the price and get as many people there as possible. And we also have a home stager that we work with to move furniture around and make it look, it's crazy how these little things can change buyers' thinking of the house. All right, so we got some graphs, we got some numbers today. I went all the way back to 1970 because I wanted to show you something. And we were talking about the 13-year average where people stay into the house in the home. So 1970, this is the average home price in the US, where we've been tracking all this data. So if you bought a house in 1970 and decided to sell, buy another house, sell, buy another house, every 13 years you're doing that. I just want to show you with those dates what the percentage increase of your house, the price increase of your house. So 1970 to 1983, the increase was 242%. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's how it works. The real estate market is, the stock goes up and down. If you pick the right stock, it's going to go up and down and slowly go up. But with real estate, it's consistently going up, and we have data to show that. So after that, it's 74% increase. And then we have 59% increase. There was a little dip over there. It would have been a little bit higher, but that's fine. And then 100% increase. So if you're doing things right and you're selling and moving every 13 years, you're consistently growing, and eventually you don't have a mortgage. You've used that equity to put down on the house and keep buying and buying. So that's the example I wanted to show you today, because it doesn't matter where the market is. Like look at the 2009. There was a dip there. People were like, oh no, it's not the time to buy. It's always the time to buy. You see a house that you like, don't hold yourself back and not go for it. Yes, go for it. Like it's consistently going to go up. So so that's as far as the home prices. Now let's look at the mortgage rates and options. And I'm just going to go briefly through these different options. So we have Rhode Island Housing that had this 17,500 for first-time home buyers. That was depleted. That they ran out of that money quick. It was supposed to be till the end of the year, but now the programs that they have is 10,000 down payment for first-time home buyers, 0 interest. Eventually, when you sell it, you got to pay that back. Then you have the $15,000 for closing, and you can use it also for down payment. And it's a second loan that goes on your mortgage. Again, I'm not a lender, but this is what is out there from Rhode Island Housing. And some lenders have 100% financing. They finance the down payment, they finance your closing costs, and there's an additional monthly payment at the end. Lending options. So the most common is conventional loan. And then you have FHA, which is a federal funded. VA loan is for veterans, and it's a great program where they finance 100% also. USDA. So you might not think that a property qualifies for farming or for USDA loan, but I was surprised with how many were. So HELOC is goodness, line of credit. So if you have a house or a property that you want to use a line of credit to purchase another property, you can do that. You can use cash or you can use hard money. All right, so I'm looking at since 1990, the interest rates. Now, if you look at this, you're like, wow, it's going to go down to 0. This is amazing. But no, it's not going to go down to 0. It's always fluctuating. It's going up and down, and it's not consistent. Because of this, with rates, with mortgage, you can refinance and get out of that high interest or low interest, or like, there's things that you can do. But as far as the home prices, that keeps increasing consistently. So where are we headed? Well, the job market's strong. The rates are likely to decrease the way we're going. Inflation is headed towards where they want it. It was at 2%. National debt is increasing. That's going up like crazy. And home insurance has increased a lot with what's happening in Florida with the hurricanes, and not many insurance companies want to insure, and a lot of them went out of business. So I see a very strong market for this year. So if you are thinking of buying a house and you like to buy a house, again, buy it. Don't stop because you're not sure like where the market's going. Again, it's consistently gone up 60%, 60 to 242% every 13 years, the way we looked at it. The rates fluctuate, so you can refinance. So buy the house that you want and you like and refinance. Equity will grow. And what I've done in the last 10 years is, looking back at 10 years, I've sold and moved 4 times, and I'm looking at also doing the same this year. So because I know where the market is, I know it's consistently going up. So, and that's it for me. Goodness, I spoke a lot. I took only 1 sip of water. But If you are interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, I'm here for you. Even if you have questions, I'm here for you. Um, Buying and selling outside of Rhode Island, Mass, Connecticut, reach out to me. I can put you in touch um, with an agent in that area. We have a good, strong network of agents and brokerages in the country. So I can definitely help you with that. If you're interested in becoming a real estate agent, also I can help you with that. Tenant and landlord laws, I'm very familiar with that. And yeah, pretty much anything to do with real estate. I had someone reach out um, uh, in another state, and they were asking me, "Hey, can I ask you? My realtor was telling me, giving me this information. Is it true?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's true." So whatever it is, you can definitely reach out to me anytime. Here's my you can QR code to connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn. There's my website and everything. And that's it for me.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Camille, for this fabulous overview of the real estate industry
Thank you.
and the differences between realtor and broker, the pros and cons of renting and buying, and how we can better navigate in making choices of when to invest, buy, and sell property. I would like to open it up for any questions. If you could kindly just put your questions in the Q&A section, and be happy for Camille to try to answer any concerns we may have.
Yeah, please, anything.
So I do see a question that says, has inventory increased in specific New England areas? Is there a potential hotspot city you see where buyers are going?
Yes, in Providence, specifically, um, it has the inventory has gone up. And if you look at Providence, it's very hot right now. The rent has increased like 7%. It's crazy. So Providence is definitely the place to be. And yeah, like I said, this compared last year to this year, I definitely see more homes on the market. Sellers who were like holding off, waiting to sell, they're starting to saying, "Oh crap! Like we gotta do this now." So
Thank you. All right, I do have another question here. It says, what do you foresee happening with federal interest rates, especially in the election year?
interesting. So National Association of Realtors came up with their prediction last year of where 2023 or what 2023 was going to look like as far as rates. And it was like, it's going to go for the rates, it's going to go down to like 5%, 4%. So I'm looking at that, and it's already like the end of 2023. And it's completely not what they predicted. It went way up. It was like it skyrocketed. But again, I think what they did with the rates is to try to like calm everything down and try to not try to get everything leveled off. And they're at this point now where they're like backing off a little bit, like just letting the rates go down. And so that's why I see this year being a great year for real estate.
I do have another question, and that is, who are your preferred lenders?
Nice, good question. So I work with a lot of lenders, and I've seen a lot of transactions that came in, with different lenders. and I've had deals fall apart, and um, because of whatever company or whatever situation. So throughout the years, I have my few that I go to. If I get an offer from those lenders, it's like, all right, I know they can make this happen. So um, I mean, if you want to know or if you want to get pre-approved, reach out to me. But and I could point you to the right lender because there's so many different types and for different situations.
Thank you. I do have another question here. Is it still wise to go with a credit union or a major bank?
Okay. Um, Good question. So I'm not again, I'm not a lender, but um I do get credit union offers, and I've worked with a lot of credit unions. Um I would say, yeah, it depends also. Like um but if it were me, I would probably go with if you say like a big bank versus a credit union. I'd probably go with the credit union and try to yeah.
Wonderful. And I do have one other question here. It says, with student loans being so expensive, it will be harder to buy as I get older with my credit score being so low. Are you finding buyers are trending more in a particular age group?
Um, so not really particular age group. I know that there's yeah, I mean it all I'm amazed by like some of the um some of the requirements and someone might think that they're not going to be able to qualify for a loan or try to get a loan to buy their house, but um and I've worked with them and they're like, wow, next thing you know, they have a house. And yeah, actually one of those, someone I'm thinking of, um, they 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 didn't think they could buy a house and they bought a house. And now they're taking real estate classes to become a real estate agent. So
Excellent. Thank you very much. So I think that's all the questions we have today. I did want to share that Kamil is not only the owner of Goldor Realty, but he also has established Good Working, a cooperative shared workspace that provides a professional environment for business owners to collaborate and succeed. Currently, there are over 100 companies utilizing these spaces, so that's wonderful news. Kamil also dedicates his time to the JWOO community and always demonstrates his Wildcat pride. He spends his time mentoring students on the Providence campus and collaborating with our entrepreneurial students at the Larry Friedman Center for Entrepreneurship, which is now referred to as the launch pad by students. So thank you, Kamil, for this wonderful overview. I also like to thank all our alumni for joining us this afternoon. I take a moment to express my gratitude for your time and continued support. As a valued member of Johnson & Wales University community, you know that your commitments to us and with us in providing unique and an exceptional experience for alumni and students is outstanding. To make this possible, we rely on the generosity of our loyal donors like you. Every gift has a powerful impact on our students, and we're grateful for your investments in our mission. As an alum, your contribution will make a difference in the lives of our students. To make a gift, I have provided the link in our chat box. I have also provided Kamil's information should you need to reach out to him. And I hope you enjoyed this virtual professional event. So we can better improve our event offering, I ask if you could take a moment to complete a brief survey at the end of this presentation. I also invite you to participate in a number of future wonderful, exciting events, including our reunion on April 19th through the 21st here in Providence. In closing, I'd like to hear about your JWU journey. So please visit us at alumni.jwu.edu to update your information and share your accomplishments with us. Thank you, Kamil. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great afternoon and keep connecting. Goodbye now.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.